Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the ADWS Business Service Summit. We're glad that you joined us on today for this summit. I think you'll find it to be very valuable and very worthwhile. During today's summit, you will hear from different practitioners in the field, and you will also learn many resources that are related to employer services. We know that in our state, employers are begging and are desperate for workers right now. And so your role in serving those employers is valuable. And so this opportunity will be a chance for you to learn more about your role and what you can do to better enhance that. ADWS is proud to have a strong business service team on staff led by Ms. Shanae Johns and others who support her through those efforts. Um, on today, we ask that you really keep an open mind and we ask that you leave with ideas and innovation. In addition, we thank you for your participation and we hope that you will continue to go forth and do well in serving employees in Arkansas. At this time, I'll turn you over to Deputy Jay Bassett.
Oh, thank you, Eddie. I appreciate the introduction. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday morning. I'll admit, starting this type of venue at 9 a.m. on a Monday morning, it required an extra few cups of coffee. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to meet with you all and wanted to share kind of my thoughts on the business service team and the crucial role that each team can offer to ADWS and all of our partners as we go forward. As we know, we are having to deal with changing environments, changing demographics, changing attitudes of job seekers or those who are still not actively seeking jobs, even though we know there are countless positions available for which employers are recruiting. You can look in the classified sections of your local and the state newspaper and see the number of job advertisements that are still out there. And so as business service team leaders, I encourage you to peruse those classified ads on a regular basis, either electronically or if you're still getting a hard copy. And if you see any employers that are not posting their jobs with ADWS, I would encourage you to extend outreach to those employers and fill them in on our services. One thing that we do hear pretty regularly is that a lot of employers, especially smaller mom and pop entities, don't know what services ADWS and our partners can bring to the table. So that's where it's so crucial that our outreach teams continue to be so proactive and enhance your efforts. And that being said, I also want to emphasize the importance of including Regina Moss and our Rapid Response Dislocated Worker Services team. Regina is on the agenda for later this morning, and I'm not going to get too much into her presentation, but I want you all to be aware that not only do they have a reactive role as far as responding to layoff and closures, but they have a proactive role. Layoff aversion is a huge component of the rapid response obligation. And there are so many tools that rapid response can add to the discussion with these employers when it comes to maybe maximizing resources, money saving initiatives. And if any member of the business service team is not really familiar with the job sharing program, which is offered through ADWS, it's also called work sharing. I challenge you to become very knowledgeable about that. Job sharing or work sharing. Arkansas is one of only, I believe, 27 states that offer this, whereby an employer that's confronted with a short-term downturn in business, rather than laying off staff, they can actually engage monies from the UI Trust Fund to offset lost monies if they have to cut hours of workers. So that can be a huge benefit. Also, if you're not familiar with the work opportunity tax credit offerings and the tax credits that employers can get if they hire members from certain hard to serve communities, that's another arsenal tool that you should be very well versed in and make sure that it's a topic of discussion when you're doing your outreach. And I know Regina will talk more about those later, but I do really think that communication is key. And please make sure that your local office managers and your partners are all aware when you're extending your outreach to the employers in your community, just so we're not duplicating efforts. And that's what it's all about. And that's why I'm so grateful to have a venue like this today. And so thank you, Eddie and Shanae, for coordinating it and giving me the opportunity to present. And I'm looking forward to learning just like the rest of you. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. And I'm going to be available to answer any questions I can. So thank you, Eddie and Shanae.
Thank you, Deputy Bassett. At this time, we'll turn you over to our facilitator and planner and organizer for this event, Ms. Shanae Johns, who's our business service manager here at the Arkansas Division of Workforce Services. Shanae?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you, A.D. Thomas. Thank you, Director Fed, Deputy Director Fed, for the introductions and the welcome this morning. I am super excited, as you all can tell, about today's events. I'm glad everyone was able to join today. If you have any questions, please utilize the chat box. We will get those questions answered, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, like I said, I'm excited about this great opportunity to share with you all and to learn more about the promising practices that you all are doing in your local areas. We have a great agenda lined up today to provide details about various resources and website links that are available. And hopefully after today's summit, you'll be able to take the information that you've learned and become more effective and efficient in your day-to-day operations as business service representatives, coordinators, and leaders. So with no more further preliminary things that we have to talk about, let's get started. So I always like to start with our vision and our mission for the Arkansas Division of Workforce Services. And of course, you know, our vision is to strengthen the economic well-being of all Arkansans and their communities. So that is our vision, and our mission, of course, is to enable Arkansas's workforce to compete in the global economy by linking a comprehensive array of services for employers and job seekers. So hence, today we are here to learn more about the business service aspect of what we do for ADWS and making sure that we're all on the same page. So our goal for today's Business Service Summit, you ask why? Why are we having this summit? So our goals today are to improve the effectiveness in making Arkansas Division of Workforce Services presence known throughout the state. And one of the greatest tasks that we have is making sure people know what we can do, where we are, and making sure that they can tell others about us. And then also, along with building and maintaining the collaboration and business partnerships that address the needs of employers who desire to develop career and training opportunities to assist individuals with barriers to employment. So I know many of you may be sitting there asking yourselves, how are we going to do this great task? So our goals today are as follows, like we just explained. Number one, improve effectiveness in making Arkansas Division of Workforce Service presence known. And that helps with maintaining the retention with the same businesses, maintaining repeat business customers, and effective skills in developing relationships with new businesses to include all local area employers. Today, we will also learn tips on how to understand the needs of employers, how to provide resources and training opportunities to employers to help increase job seekers' skill set levels, and lastly, how to develop new business partnerships and maintaining existing employer partnerships, because that is so important and vital to the success of the business service team leads, making sure that we build new business partnerships and maintaining those that we already have established. So our mission when we are meeting with employers is to, number one, understand the human capital needs of the employer. Human resources are very vital to understanding what that company needs, how many people that they need to bring on board, and making sure that we can help address those needs. And then we also need to be able to provide resources and training opportunities to increase job seeker skill set levels. And then also, again, making sure that everyone knows we are here to help. making our presence known, and then letting them know what services that we can actually provide through ADWS. Next, we want to make sure that we develop and maintain those partnerships. And then last but not least, increase that business retention. So let's dive a little deeper and talk about the business service team lead roles in the local areas. So ask yourself this question before we go in. Do you consider yourself a consultant, a champion, a connector, or a service provider? Just think about that for just a second. So with this overview, we will learn more about the business service team lead roles in the local areas. The joint WIOA final rule requires the provision of business services through the American Job Center network, and that is to support a local workforce development system that meets the needs of businesses in local areas, and that can be found in 20 CFR 678-435. Through the American Job Centers, applicable one-stop partners develop, offer, and deliver quality business services that assist businesses and industry sectors in overcoming the challenges of, number one, recruiting, retaining, and developing talent for the regional economy. So with the business service teams, they are very vital to the success in connecting the many moving parts through our workforce delivery system. We have a great task of accomplishing these goals established when it comes to effectively serving employers and job seekers. So let's discuss the 4 roles for the business service representatives that are listed there on the screen. And again, please, if you have any questions, feel free to use the chat box. Number 1, we have the consultant, and that's going to be your workforce intelligence. So the consultant has knowledge in providing advice and recommendations to solve problems and exchange of information. This includes knowledge of and providing access to workforce intelligence. It is the role of advising businesses and being actively involved in the exchange of workforce information. These features, but is not limited to, what is commonly known and referred to as the labor market information, such as data for wages, industry and occupational projections. But however, the role of the consultant expands beyond labor market information to include knowledge of and access to economic and census data, other types of workforce reports, special studies related to the local region, awareness of what workforce development, human resource challenges exist, and etc. Now keep in mind that this role differs from the business connector, which we'll find out a little bit later more about, in that a consultant is more actively involved in recommending solutions versus making referrals to other services. We will learn more about how we have the Discover Arkansas as a resource tool later by Mr. Spencer Griffin. I want you to take a few seconds and think about what are some of the good qualities of a good consultant. Just think for a minute. I know the gears are turning and getting you to thinking, okay, well, I know what a good consultant is, but here are just a few to name for you. They have knowledge and experience. Good consultants are very knowledgeable about current trends and relevant in their fields. They are very relevant in their fields and have extensive experience in helping to solve job seekers' problems. They can provide advice and recommendations. Consulting is more than advising. It includes direct knowledge of possible solutions and recommending a course of action. They have credibility and they have rapport. Credibility is essentially customers, job seekers, of course, in our case, believe in you, trusting you to do what you say you will do, believing you know what you are talking about. And the rapport refers to employers having the sense that you understand their businesses, their needs, and their concerns. It also is about how you conduct yourselves with your business customers. So that's what a consultant is. Any questions so far? No questions? Next, you have the champion. This is the representative of business. So this role is important because it is representing the business needs internally in career centers to inform staff and customers of business requirements, processes, and methods related to workforce development, recruitment, and hiring. This role is essential to the representative of business to the center staff, operations, and job-seeking customers. In this role, business services staff bring acquired knowledge from the business community needs, requirements, specifications, practices, standard processes, and much, much more in the center to inform and improve operations knowledge and the service delivery. It takes expanding your current actions and activities that you all are doing and building on them. So in addition to gathering information about the business needs and operations, you can translate these to impact center operations, communicate these to the staff and partners, motivate for response to the services and processes that are authentic to the employers that you're dealing with and the way that they work. You as business service representatives know about the changes and the trends in the employer operations. This role is about converting the knowledge to the action that you all need to take in response in the center. So any questions so far? So that brings us.
Shanae, excuse
I'm
me, I'm
sorry.
sorry. There is one question in the chat from Cora Easterday, and it
Yes.
says, can you serve, excuse me, can you serve on one or more role on the team?
Yes, you can. Most definitely. Sometimes it's multiple roles that you're actually completing at that time, or it may be some of the roles that you may divvy out to other staff to do for you. But yes, to answer your question, you certainly can serve in more than one position. That's a great question, Cora. Thank you, AD. Any other questions? So next, that brings us to the connector. So now you have the consultant, you have the champion, and then you have your connector, and then you have your service providers. So next, with the connector, this one is actually dealing with the workforce systems access. So appropriately, referring businesses to services that exist either with the Public Workforce Development Center or elsewhere in the community. That requires extensive knowledge of other related business services available in your area. As previously mentioned, this is the role of linking businesses to needed services across the full spectrum of the workforce development system, beyond just my program. Just keep that in mind. It's more than just us. We have other partners that we must make sure that we connect with, and other government services and other business services available in the community. This role can be thought of as a system navigator. So connecting and accessing all the resources on behalf of businesses so that they don't have to puzzle through figuring out whom or where to call for what. So you have to take on that aspect of, okay, I have to have the who, what, when, where, and how of all business services. You can take it as a sign of customer satisfaction if business customers continuously call you for information and referrals in addition to the services that you all have to offer. It is recognition that you are helpful, knowledgeable, and responsive. The reverse is also true. If you are helpful and responsive when referring businesses to other providers and organizations, then businesses may be more likely to use your services and become your customers as well. Any questions on the connector? No questions? Lastly, we have the service provider. So at first we had the representative of business with the champion. Now we have the service provider, which is the representative to business. The most prevalent role is the service provider. This relates to development, delivery, and continuous improvement of high quality services to businesses. In this role, business service staff are initiating, organizing, coordinating, and delivering workforce development services to businesses. This role, which often accounts for the majority of his or her time, includes assessment of quality, satisfaction with services, and continuous improvement efforts. So as business service coordinators, representatives, team leaders, you're responsible for all business outreach and engagement, overall communicating the business needs. So some of the outreach activities that can be performed are, number one, conducting on-site or virtual meetings with employers or maintaining a presence at job fairs, encouraging employers on how to reduce high employee turnover rates, encouraging employees access to resources provided through ADWS, and providing information concerning employee training programs as it relates to the labor market trends. So ask yourself, which role do you see yourself as? Are you a consultant? Are you a champion? Are you a connector? Or are you a service provider? And as Cora pointed out, or do you consider yourself having capabilities and characteristics of all of those roles? And if you do, awesome. So let's move on. We will now transition to the services available to the employers through ADWS. So ask this question when you meet different ones and you want to speak with them and you want to tell them about what's going on, keep in mind you always want to have ready to go, what does ADWS have to offer? So again, that reference that I gave you with 20 CFR 678-435, it gives us a detailed breakdown along with TIGO 1616 on the services that must be made available. So the very first one there that you have listed, we'll go into a little bit more detail about each one. So certain career services must be made available to local employers, specifically labor exchange activities and labor market information described in 678-430. So the local areas must establish and develop relationships and networks with large and small employers and their intermediaries. So local areas must develop, convene, or implement industry or sector partnerships. Customized business services may be provided to employers, employer associations, or other such organizations. These services are tailored for specific employers and may include what are listed there on the screen. Number one, customized screening and referral of qualified participants and training services to employers. Number two, customized screening for employers, employer associations, or other such organizations on employment-related issues, okay? And number three, customized recruitment events and related services for employers, included targeted job fairs. Number four, human resource consultation services, including, but not limited to, the assistance with the following: writing and reviewing job descriptions and employee handbooks. Sometimes you may get an employee that very well may need assistance with gathering this information and writing and putting it into a form where people can understand. So number two, developing performance evaluation and personnel policies. Some may need assistance with that. Three, creating orientation sessions for new workers. Four, honing job interview techniques for efficiency and compliance. Five, analyzing employee turnover. Six, creating job accommodations and using assistive technologies. Or number 7, explaining labor and employment laws to help employees comply with discrimination, wage, hour, and safety health regulations. So those are just some that are listed that can fall under the category of human resource consultation services. And then next you have number 5, customized labor market information for specific employer sectors, industries, or clusters. And number 6, other similar customized services. So you have your local areas may also provide business services and strategies that meet the workforce investment needs of area employers in accordance with partner program statutory requirements and consistent with federal cost principles. These business services may be provided through effective business intermediaries working in conjunction with the local workforce development board or through the use of economic development, philanthropic, and other public and private resources in a manner determined appropriate by the local workforce development board and in cooperation with the state. So allowable activities consist with each partner's authorized activities, including but not limited to developing and implementing industry sector strategies, including strategies involving industry partnerships, regional skills alliances, industry skill panels, and sectorial skills partnerships. Number 2, customized assistance or referral for assistance in the development of a registered apprenticeship program. And we know that our partners over there, OSD, are more than willing and capable to help assist us when we're trying to get an apprenticeship up and started with the various employers. So I advise, and if you have any questions, further questions about our apprenticeship, I know back in October, we conducted a TAT call about expanding apprenticeship in the state of Arkansas. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, and I will get you connected to the individuals over there with OSD, Office of Skills Development. So number 3, moving along, developing and delivering innovative workforce investment services and strategies for area employers, which may include career pathways, skills upgrading, skills standard development, and certification for recognized post-secondary credentials or other employer use and other effective initiatives for meeting the workforce investment needs of area employers and workers. Then next you have the assistance to area employers in managing reduction in force. This is what Ms. Regina Moss is going to give us more detailed information about. Reductions in force in coordination with the rapid response activities and with strategies for the aversion of layoffs, which may include strategies such as early identifications of firms of risk of layoffs, using feasibility studies to assess the needs of and options for at-risk firms, and the delivery of employment and training activities to address risk factors. Number 5, the marketing of business services to appropriate area employers, including small and mid-sized employers. This is just not for the large employers that we have throughout the state. This is for the small and the medium-sized, mid-sized employers. Number 6, we are also assisting employers with accessing local, state, and federal tax credits. And lastly, all business services. I want you all to make sure you keep this in mind, that all business services and strategies must be reflected in the local plan that is described in 679-560. So keep that in mind. You may have a lot of different activities that you all want to carry out within your local area, but just keep that in mind that it needs to go into your local plan. So let's pause for a few seconds here to see if we need any questions on where to find this information that we just went over. Are there any questions on where this is located?
And Chennai, so far there are no other questions in the chat, but we would love to hear, from some of the attendees on today about any of the information that you've shared thus far. What areas that are on the screen right now do you maybe not tap into just because you really don't understand? What can we do to provide more information and more clarity on some of those services?
Thank you, AD. Please feel free to unmute.
Maybe hi, this is Cora Easterday with West Central Arkansas Planning and Development District. And I think that for me being new to the business service team and ADWS and the workforce system in general, I think sometimes I just don't know what questions to ask. It's not that I don't have questions to ask.
Okay. I understand, Corey. Are you referring to like for the information that's on the screen or just in general?
Just the information's on the screen in general.
I got you. Now I will say, if you don't mind me sharing, I've sat in on a few of your business service team meetings, and you all have a great rapport with your partners. And Cora, one of the things that you have that I really like is your employer services form. And in order to get information from your different employers that you go out and speak with, I think that is an amazing tool to use. Can you speak a little bit about that? Because you were saying for us, like, don't know which questions to ask. I think your form is actually a great tool and instrument in order to use it as an assessment, to be honest.
Well, thank you. And this was a form that was shared with me, and basically it asked those common questions that we use when we go out in the field, as an employer. What are the jobs that you're hiring for in specific? I'm trying to look for my form right now. Basic essential information. When are you making a hiring decision? What are the age requirements of the position that you're hiring for? Do you hire convicted felons? Do you have available benefits? What are those available benefits? What are the critical qualifications of the job, etc. Yeah. And I think there's another, I want to say maybe Central also maybe uses a similar form to this.
Okay.
And so we actually fill this out for each position that they're hiring for. So we don't combine all of the positions. We just say, okay, the job title, this is how many that you're needing, and if you need another one. But then also here you see the additional services. It helps you kind of specify what you're asking on the last sheet that we were looking for, as far as, do you need help with recruitment or job fair, applicant screening? And I know something that I need to be better at is talking more about the work opportunity tax credit. It's a huge benefit that I just sometimes pass over because I'm more interested in learning about the needs of the particular employer and what they're looking, what jobs they're looking to hire, that I get excited about that. And I actually forget a lot of times to talk about the work opportunity tax credit. And that's something I need to do better at.
Well, I think you all are doing a great job, and you really just honed in on each one of those where you use that form to customize the different needs for the employers that you're actually talking to. So I think that is a great thing that you all are doing. So keep up the good work, Cora.
Thank you.
Sinead, could I jump in right quick?
Yes, of course.
And I'm guilty. I'm the one that pulled that form up, and I'll tell you why I had it readily available. I'm working on modifying, new tongue, our real estate plan. And I'm actually in the section this morning where I'm adding some information that Sinead shared with me about business services, and this form stuck out. That's why I had it on my desktop and I could open it so quickly, because I think this is an excellent tool. And I've actually am adding it in our modified real estate plan as one of the best practices that have come from our business services team. I love this form. Am I saying every local area should have one? No, I'm not really saying that, but I kind of am. But please know that I'm including in our real estate plan modification. I think it is an excellent idea because, again, sometimes you don't know what to ask the employer, and the employer don't know what to ask you. So I think this is an excellent communication tool. So I just wanted to just kind of vouch for it. Thank you, Sinead.
Yes, thank you, Elroy.
And to add to that, honestly, when I go out in the field and I use this form, it helps me stay, focused too. And I don't want to take the credit for this. This is something that was in place when I got here. So I think it's great that that you guys think it's wonderful, because it's helping me a lot. And this actually form, whenever I need help adding jobs to AJL, this is the form that I use in order for my business service team to actually post a job. We use this to put the information and get it to ADWS and an AJL, and in Jazz HR, which is our recruiting platform that we use too.
Shanae, Deputy Jay has his hand up.
Yes, Deputy.
Hi, thank you very much. And I just wanted to commend Cora and the rest of her team and Elroy. I think that form is excellent. I support Spencer Griffin's comments in the chat box as well. And I'd suggest possibly including a reference to the shared work program on that form. But I think that is a great resource, and thank you for sharing it.
Yes, thank you.
Sinead, also in the comment section, someone asked for a list of business services teams throughout Arkansas to identify contacts in the areas, and I told them that we will provide that in a follow-up email.
Yes, and it's also I know you all are paying attention to the screen, but if you look on the bottom part of your agenda, I actually have it listed for your ADWS Business Service Directory. And if you're not able to click on that link, that PDF that's attached to this form, I will make sure that I send it out to everyone, but the information should be at the bottom of your agenda.
Thank you. One other thing, while we have just a few more minutes in this segment, you guys, we're really curious to know some of the employers that you're working with. If you can, in the chat box, go ahead and list at least two recent employers that you've worked with in the past couple of weeks. We want to know who's reaching out, who you're trying to help recruit and select and refer people to it. So if you will, in the chat really quick, just type out a couple of employers who you've been working with recently.
And while they're doing that, if I could say one more thing and I'll be quiet, I promise the rest of the meeting. Shanae, I wanted to also add, again, I love your business services directory. I have been looking at other states' WIOA state plans and have not seen that. So that's another addition that I'm adding into our state plan modification as well. I think that is a very excellent, good practice. So I just wanted you to know that I'm putting that in our plan as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Looks like we have some good employers coming in. Snap-on, Landshark Logistics, Lake Hamilton Animal Hospital, Jason Keith Weldon, Arvis Bank, PAX 8, Arkansas Department of Corrections, City of Forest City, Vexus Boats. Keep them coming in, you guys. We're really curious to see who's reaching out.
That is great.
Southwest Dollar Tree and City of Camden Road Department. Got a diverse group of employers here.
Yes.
Okay, Shanae, well, I'll hand it back to you.
Okay, this is great information, great dialogue. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. We will pick up with the last portion here, just to close out the why of our business summit. So we've covered the business services summit goals. We've talked about the overview for business services team leads roles, and then we've also discussed the services to employers. If you all have any questions, please feel free to use the chat box, or you can send me an email and we'll get that information back out to you. Any information that I'm covering today, I would be more than willing to share with you all as a follow-up from our business service summit today. Okay? So we will keep those employers coming in. This is great. This is great. Thank you all again. We're going to move on to our next agenda item, breaking through the wall of disconnect. And this is going to be active engagement with our employers. I'm going to start sharing my screen again. You all see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Good deal. So during this segment, I'm going to be sharing the employer engagement strategies, and then Ms. Regina Mall, she's going to pick up with the benefits of being proactive versus reactive when you're discussing layoff aversion. So with breaking through the walls of disconnect, it is important to maintain, again, those strong relationships with the business community and to have intentional, ongoing collaboration with systems partners to provide coordinated business services. This can be accomplished through means like work-based training models, such as apprenticeships that we mentioned earlier, incumbent worker training programs, OJTs, internships, and customized training programs. And on our website, which I'll also provide that information as well, we have a work-based learning opportunities that can be offered as employers, but we also have a policy and then an application that you all can use for those Arkansas business-driven training programs. So that information is listed on our website. I will follow up with an email with those links to it. But again, some of those options that are available to the employers are those that we just called out, the OJTs. You know, a lot of times, you know, people need hands-on and prefer to have hands-on, so they'll have a gist of what they're doing and the job that they're actually getting ready to learn and build on. So that's one of the things that you can keep in mind. I know we're all familiar with work experience, especially with the youth. They love, you know, those work experience opportunities to, matter of fact, earn money. Who don't like to earn money? But the work experience is known throughout the state with all of the areas. You all are very, very intentional about making sure that that stays afloat. But there are other opportunities out there for the employers. When you're speaking with them, let them know that there's a vast, you know, array of services that you all can offer your job seekers when you want to bring them on board. So just keep that in mind. Again, I will follow up from our discussion today with those links for the work-based learning policy. And that's going to be policy 5.0. But some of the techniques that you all have listed there on the screen when developing strategies for serving employers and getting partners involved are: number one, mix it up. Mix it up. Use assessments, as we just discussed with Cora with West Central and her group. Use assessments and focus groups and presentations when you meet with your employers. It is best to have, you know, information that they can relate to and let them know, okay, this is relevant to you in this way. So mix it up. Don't, you know, don't just be, you know, just your simple things that you're used to doing or they're used to seeing. You know, pretty much get an assessment of what their needs are and then go from there. Next, you're going to find your employer champions. We discussed earlier about you being a champion, but we're going to find our employer champions, just like the individuals that you all, the companies that you all just actually listed in the chat box. So you have retention with the same business and repeat customers. You all know what you're doing with those employers, and you know that you're bringing them in. Let them be your mouthpiece for you. So find your employer champions and keep going and making sure that you maintain that relationship with them. Make sure you're assessing that their needs. You know, challenges are, we everyone know we're living in a challenging time now. So we want to make sure that we stay abreast of the challenges that they're faced on the business aspect of everything. And then next, you're going to engage your employers together. Think about having like a think tank sessions where you is either virtual, or if you get to the point where you're back face to face, think about having like a think tank session, because some may be able to gain information from other employers that they're able to use in their businesses. So that would be a good tool to use. Then cross-check and combine, leverage your employer list. Just like the individuals that you all just listed in the box, we also have a list that I'll share with you all that I actually received from Lonnie Emmert with the over at ADWS, that he has a whole list of employers for the state that they're generating. Of course, the list will continue to expand. So just keep that in mind. Just make sure that you're leveraging your employer list within each local area. And then I love this one: make meetings matter. Time is money. Be prepared. I know Cora was saying about not knowing what to say when you meet the employees. Make sure that you have a script available and be able to market the different systems that are available through ADWS to your employers. Just make sure when you're talking to them, you have your information together. This is what we have. This is what we can offer, and just go from there. And they can tell you, they'll be able to again, build that rapport. You all will be able to build that rapport and let them know, okay, here's what we have to offer, and this is how I can help you. So make sure that you make your meetings matter. Make that time count. And then be creative on how you build awareness. I know a few of your the local areas, you all have the Facebook as a social media as for one of your exposures for getting your information out there. And I absolutely love it. And you have your in-person and your virtual job fairs. That's a great tool to have right now at this point, because some are not, just say comfortable right now with doing in-person meetings. So those virtual job fairs have been very beneficial. I had a chance to sit in on a couple of job fairs, virtual job fairs with the Little Rock Workforce Development Area. So I commend them on that, and continue to do your social media exposure and flyers. You have to be creative. I know we're so used to, just having just your regular flyers and, setting up booths and stuff like that. We just have to think about a different way of being innovative. Okay. And then next you have to use your industry experts. I think about this as being to gain a better understanding of the business needs. Go out there and speak with other people.
Miss Shanae,
yes.
I'm sorry, you can't see my hand up.
No,
can I jump in just 1 second? I know I lied and said I won't say anything.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine.
But I know we have a state board director, Chad Brown, and when you talked about using social media, one of the things I know Director Brown came up with was using that for our state board. And to be perfectly honest with you, me being old like I am and stuck in my ways, it never occurred to me to do that. But that was one of the new things that he has done as we still try to struggle through COVID. And Director Brown, can you hear us?
Yes.
Would you mind just sharing a little bit with the audience about how you implemented the use of social media for the state board, sir?
Sure. So when I got here, I just did a basic search of any local workforce board or even any state workforce board around the country. I came to find out, unless they're named differently where I can't find them in a search, I didn't find too many state board social media sites around the country. So, I talked to Dr. Childers and she said, well, just use DWS's. And I was like, no, because that deals with unemployment and that side of the equation. So I created a Twitter page, a Facebook page, and then I also use LinkedIn. But I mean, it's slow moving because WEO is really only interested in those people that use it. So I'm trying to figure out how to get it out there a little more, but it's slow moving, but it works when you look at a way of communicating information. It's an easy way to communicate information. When I see the local areas post job fairs and hiring events, then I share that on my page just to try to get it out all over the state. I also get my board members to try to share it on their pages as well. So when it comes to social media, you never know just by sharing it once who sees it and who's going to share it on their side. So for me, if it reaches one person, then perfect. We just hit another performance measure in accordance with our state plan, and that's really the goal of doing it. So that's it.
Thank you, Director Brown. Thank you, Shanae. I'm gonna be quiet after this.
Oh, no, you're fine. Thank you. Thank you, Director Brown. So next we have the use of industry experts. I think about this as, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. You have individuals out there with the knowledge base, strong knowledge base, use them at your disposal, and that'll help you to gain a better understanding of the business needs. So then next one, we pretty much, we push this doing in our local areas all the time. Use your local board members, your business owners. They're business owners. Use them as a referral source. That's how I look at that. They are more than a requirement of filling a position on the board. Use them wisely. So use your board members. Use them as a first responder in your networking. Get them involved. They want to be involved. If you just ask them, I'm quite sure they would love to be involved. So use your board members. Next, create a strong employer network, what we just did with the list in the chat box. Get an active employer list and contacts. We'll discuss a little bit later on about Salesforce and its benefits and keeping in contact with that information with Salesforce and AGL. And then the next one is going to be understand the strengths of your partners. Knowledge is going to be power. So becoming knowledgeable of what your partners have to offer is very essential. With the TIGO that I mentioned earlier, TIGO 1616, it breaks down the core partners and the required partners for the Workforce Center. So build a rapport with those individuals that you have at your fingertips. So And then lastly, connect with them. Connect with your businesses, business penetration. Just make sure that you stay intentional on your connections with your different businesses and your employers. So any questions so far on those strategies that we have listed? Anyone want to add more that what you all are doing in your local area? I know we just discussed about being creative with the social media exposure. The local areas, do you all want to add anything that you all are doing outside of what's actually listed here? You all can unmute. Any takers?
Shanae.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. This is Chantel. One of the things that we have been doing to engage our employers on social media is doing video reviews of their companies. For example, we're working with a company in Lonoke that is new to the area, and they did not have brand awareness, and they did not have an established community relationship. So what we are doing is working with their marketing videographer, and they are coming in and we are partnering with them, and we will place that on our social media page to make sure the community and that job seekers are aware of them, and up to a large hiring event where the mobile unit will be on site, all of that. But that's one of the ways that we're using not just text for Facebook, but we're looking at doing the small videos, 30 seconds or less, to promote that company. Why do you want to work there? What makes this company stand out? Things of that nature. And the company leads that, and then we recruit for them on the other end and are able to fill those positions. So that's a new way that we've started using social media, is the small video clips.
Chantel, I really like that idea, and that helps an individual get a better feel of, the job that they're actually applying for, when you hear someone speaking about the different companies. So I really like that idea. Congratulations. I like that. I look forward to seeing those.
Hey, I've got Chantel, that's a great idea. This is Cora again in West Central. I recently saw online an employer of ours, Magic Springs, is using their success stories of the kids that they hired at a younger age, maybe high school into college, as success stories for using the Magic Springs and the theme park as a way to get to the next level in their education and in their careers. And so that really goes along in line with what you guys are doing. But, as far as brand management, I think it's a wonderful idea, and I'm so excited for you guys.
Yes, it is awesome. Thank you, Cora. Thank you, Chantel. Any other questions? Any other comments? If there are no more questions or comments, now I would turn it over to Ms. Regina Moss. She's the Program Operations Manager for the Dislocated Workers Task Force Rapid Response, who will provide insight on the benefits of being proactive versus reactive when challenges are discovered. Ms. Regina Moss.
Oops, sorry about that. Good morning, everybody. My name is Regina Moss, and I understand there are a few new people, so I'm going to kind of just give you a general overview of Rapid Response if you're not familiar with the program. What we do, we're part of DWS, and when we hear of a layoff or closure, and that could be through a warn notice, which is actually very rare, we might get a direct call from the company. We might hear from one of the workers, somebody in the community. When we hear of a layoff or closure, we try to connect with that company to, first of all, verify if the information is correct. And then we try to see how far along are they in the layoff. Is there a possibility that the layoff can be avoided? And one thing we will always want to say that it doesn't matter how many people are going to be laid off. A lot of people think rapid response only kicks in if it's a large layoff. That's not the case. If there's one person, we'll get information to that person. But going back, there are several things we try to find out: why they're laying off, who's affected, when they're going to be laying off. Is it trade affected? Because we work with the trade team to see if there's any overseas, Canada, Mexico, import, export issues that might be causing the layoff. And that's another option for workers that are laid off. We try to connect the workers to the services that are available. So we work very closely with WIOA, the local offices, DHS, Department of Health, the local schools, because we know a little bit about a lot of things, but what we try to do is connect the people to the services that they're needing. So we look at if they're wanting to go back for retraining, if they're wanting to find another job immediately, if they're wanting to start their own business. Those are things we think about when trying to provide information and connect them with different services. One of the things we like to do is find out about a layoff before it occurs to see if we can initiate a lot of the layoff aversion strategies. We attend a lot of human resources conferences. We go to chamber events. We try to put the word out about rapid response. We try to put the word out about WOTC, and I think most of you all are familiar with that. It's a federal tax credit for companies that hire workers from any of, I believe it's 10 different groups. So we try to put the word out about that. We talk about shared work, where workers can work reduced hours and get partial unemployment, which may help the company get some things in order before, oh, let me share my screen because I do have some of this stuff on the screen that might be helpful as well. Hold on. Okay. And that'll help me not ramble too much for you. It's coming. Okay. Back to the layoff aversion activities. The shared work, where you can work reduced hours, that is one of the programs of DWS. There's also a program called TAA for firms that is connected to import-export activity, but it is actually helpful before the layoff, where a company can get assistance from TAA. There's a cost behind that, but sometimes it might help companies that avoid laying workers off if they're able to get technology updated or things like that, get their workers trained, things like that. Other things we look at as far as trying to avoid layoffs or workforce retention are mobile workforce centers. And I think a lot of you all are familiar with that because you all have utilized them. The mobile workforce centers can be taken to the company before a layoff, where they can look for work, register for work on their resumes. Hopefully some of them can actually get a job before they're laid off. We also try to connect companies with, if they're hiring, we try to connect them with the dislocated workers. That's come in handy. We've worked with Chantel. We've done worker assistance workshop, which is where we present all of this information. Chantel has showed up at some of our work assistance workshop, and she has job listings available for those workers who are being laid off. Sometimes we can connect the HR contacts with each company to try to hopefully maybe get these workers jobs before they're laid off. And because they're being laid off through no fault of their own, then the company knows they're getting quality workers, which is a plus. Another thing we try to do as far as workforce retention, we have Be Successful at Work handbooks. We try to get HR contacts to maybe have that in their hiring package to maybe kind of let workers know what is expected of them, which might help them, remain at that job. Our TAA program, they have an OJT program, and they're doing a lot of outreach with companies trying to get some of the workers who were through trade affected issues to get on the job training. We have, one of the things I want to do was talk about our team. I have 5 people on the team. I'm trying to hire another mobile workforce center driver, but I have Carlos Wright, Donna Harris, and Dewana Lindsay. They are rapid response coordinators who are covering the state, and some of them may have been in contact with you because one of the initiatives that we are trying to do, thanks to Deputy Jay Bassett, because he kept us with him when he moved over to his new position, because he is really trying to get us closer aligned with the local offices and more involved with business service teams. So that is what we're looking to do, is work a little more closely with you all to see how we can assist, we can partner together and get some things done in our various communities. So you will be hearing from us if you haven't already heard from us. I didn't talk about career readiness certificate. That's another thing we bring up to try to talk about maybe screening opportunities for employers who are looking for workers. And we also encourage workers who are being laid off who don't have that certificate to get that to be more employable. I think it might be on. Yes. So I don't know if any of you all had questions about rapid response. If you're not familiar with rapid response, the mobile workforce centers, we use those at hiring events. We take them specifically to companies where if a company is hiring, we can pull up their website and people can go directly to the website to look for work. We take them to job fairs, because a lot of times when you go to job fairs, people are telling you to apply online. So with the mobile workforce center there, it allows them to apply for that job before they leave that job fair. And also, if they are needing help with creating resumes, we work closely with our reemployment specialists that can assist them with getting resumes done on the unit at job fairs as well. So I think, have I covered what I was supposed to cover?
Yes.
Okay, so are there any questions? Because I think you all are very familiar with WOTC and shared work, so I didn't want to beat that down, but I do have the contact information because we do have people that work with the program here, so there are direct contacts for those programs. If you had any questions, there are like fact sheets on the website. We use that and put that in our information packets as well.
Yes, that would
And
be
one thing I wanted to say, when we were doing, it was interesting that we would always go to the human resources conferences and give this information, but companies really don't hear you if they're not laying off. But when COVID hit, shared work became very popular and people were really clamoring for that information. So we try to still put it out there because you never know when people are going to really start paying attention to it.
Okay, good deal. Yes, you're
So
in
ladies, there is
I
there's
knew
a hand
everyone
up.
was coming for me.
No, ma'am. Miss Tracy Hinton has a hand. She has a question.
Okay.
I do, thank you. So when we have, I know that generally we work with employers, we have our job fairs that are primarily from the state of Arkansas. And you mentioned that the Mobile Workforce Center would attend those job fairs so that the job seekers can apply online. Well, generally, when FedEx comes, okay, everybody knows that FedEx is not an Arkansas employer, but they employ a lot of Arkansas residents. Would the mobile unit be able to come out to assist us with that so that those job seekers can apply online, or is it strictly for Arkansas employers and businesses?
No, we have actually gone across the bridge to Memphis. We always do the Veterans Job Fair in Texarkana on the Texas side. So we do work very closely with border states, and we can do to assist Arkansas workers, even if there's a layoff. For instance, there's a layoff happening in Texarkana within the next couple of weeks, but they're on the Texas side. But we always partner with them to make sure Arkansas workers get the information they need and get the services that are available to them on the Arkansas side as well. So that's not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Regina, we have a question in the chat box. How do the local areas pay for the use of the mobile units?
All they have to do is be nice to me and fill out the online application. There's no charge for that. If you are really nice and you want to make sure my driver gets snacks or food, if you all are serving lunch, that's an even bigger plus. But there's no charge for the mobile. And right now I'm down a driver. I'm getting ready to bring a new one on hopefully soon and hopefully get an intermittent on. So yeah, there's no charge for that. The application is located on our website, which is located at the bottom of that sheet I'm sharing. And if you scroll down to the Mobile Workforce Center, there are two ways you can access the application. There's like a red here link, that is the web application. And then there's another link that actually says Mobile Workforce Center application, that's the PDF application. So just fill that out. Let us check the schedule and make sure we're available. Please, no Saturday events. We try not to do Saturday events. It's kind of depending on the availability of the driver, but yeah, but there's no charge.
Okay.
And Shanae, Deputy Jay has his hand up.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you. And as always, Regina does an amazing job, and I am so grateful for her presentation today. I'd also like to make sure everybody is aware that in addition to the big mobile units that are under Regina's supervision, we have some smaller mini units that are outstationed. We have one that is based out of Jonesboro, one out of Fayetteville, and one out of Hope. And we hope to have one of these mini units stationed in our area 4, possibly in the Pine Bluff or Monticello area. But we're having some logistics issues. But these mini units are also available for your use as well, and again at no charge. So we have those mini units deployed on a regular schedule to a lot of our satellite communities, which I'll be happy to share that schedule with you. But again, these are resources that I just wanted to make sure you're aware of, in addition to the amazing larger units which Regina and her team oversee. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Thank you, Regina. We'll get that information out to you all that she's referring to. If you have questions, please put them in the chat box. But we will definitely follow up. Are there any other questions, any other comments?
Don't see any more hands, Shanae.
Okay, I do see one more question in the chat box. What services do the mini units offer? All the same as the other, or is it more limited?
We have, you can apply online. So we have the website. You can go on EasyArc, you can go on Arkansas Job Link. We have capabilities for you to print off a limited number of resumes. We do have a smart board with a screen, so we can do training on there, sharing the big screen. We don't have the capabilities to scan IDs as far as UI type stuff, but I think they're working on that. Is that kind of helpful to what you're needing? We've also used them for companies that are kind of getting their training up and don't have a location. We've taken them out to different locations for them to use for training for their workers. And the newer ones, we have bigger space in the back for interviews, and also a little meeting space. And we have tables that we can set up in the newer ones to give more access to paper applications or any other training activity.
Okay, great. He said yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, good. And the mini units is that I almost call him Dr. J. It's Deputy J. That's new for me because he's just always been J for me, so I'm trying to behave myself. But anyway, the mini
Still just
the
Jay,
mini
don't worry
units
about it.
the mini units have space for like 5 people, so they're they have laptops on there, so they're good for smaller initiatives, and they have really been a help to us as far as covering a lot of the activity that we might not be able to cover.
Hey, Regina, this is Eddie. Can I
Hey,
volunteer?
Eddie.
Hey, good morning. Hey, can I volunteer to drive one of the vans or buses when you need an extra person?
We will get you proper training, and yes,
Thank you. Sign me up. Look at
you're
all
on the
that.
list. You're on the list now, so I'm gonna get you trained. And
Thank you.
Elroy is showing his overwhelming support about this idea.
It's just a whole
It's
panel that's
Beverly
saying no to
is.
that. No.
Good deal. All righty. Well, thank you again, Regina, for the information you've shared with us. We will now move a little bit further into our agenda if there are no more comments or questions right now. So I know we are well on our way in our agenda, and now let's increase our knowledge bank on the tools and resources that are available, after which we will take a short break. So when we finish this, we'll get a chance to stop for just a brief moment, and we'll go from there. But first up, I'll do an overview of AJL and Workforce GPS. As some of you all are aware, AJL is the reporting system we use to report data to DOL. Many have created other data collecting mechanisms to keep track of the contact information with your employers and your partners. But AJL has a link that will allow you to add employer information and contact notes as well. This information can be used to generate many reports that are vital for reporting purposes. So now we would take a look at a few screenshots that I was able to get for today's summit. And as I'm pulling that up,
And while Shanae is pulling it up, I would just like to remind people, because I always talk about performance. I'm sorry, but I must. Please remember, ladies and gentlemen, prior to WIOA implementation, states were encouraged to provide services to employers and track that. But remember, when WIOA came into being, we actually have effectiveness in serving employers performance measures for the state. That we have to gather this information from all 4 of our core partners. So it's very important that we find a mechanism to track what we are doing and providing those services to employers and report it to the feds. I'm going to shut up, Shanae. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Thank you. So the screen that you see up before you now is AJL. Everyone's familiar with AJL. So of course you log in accordingly. So you see my information at the top there. So like I said, these are just screenshots. So you see the welcome, and then over here on the side left-hand tab, you have this employer search. If you click on that screen, that tab, it would actually bring you to this employer search tab. And I just use RVS because that was the example that I was given. So I just use RVS, and once you type in RVS and select search, it will give you a different screen, which will populate all of the RVS tabs. But this one in particular gave me this RVS tab here. As you see where I'm scrolling here on the side, it'll tell you the jobs that are active, the pending, the on hold, the referred, the closed. But what I want to bring your attention to is over here when you add to my employers, right here you have 18 different tracking notes here that you can click on and get additional information. It's really a communications barrier form, not a barrier, mechanism for the company. So this information is actually tracked in AJL as well. And just a second, Ms. Beverly Lovett is going to give us an overview on the what's to come with Salesforce. But AJL has the same capabilities of tracking that information as well. So here you have your employer account information where you can go in and update the information. You have the company description, the contact name, contact title, the address here, and then again, you have the information for the job orders that have been listed. Scroll down just a little bit here. And again, you have this capability of adding employer notes, add a note if that's what you need, additional information that you all very well may need when you're looking at the employer in AJL. So all of these capabilities are actually available in AJL. What I would like, again, as Errol was saying, I encourage you to go in and start using AJL when you're making your contacts with your employers. That way that information can be reported out. And this is the actual, let's see here, the contact tracking. This is that screen here. This communications list gives you the date, the reason, the type, and who it was made by, and then the agency it was made to. But I just wanted to make sure that we went over that and let you all know that that is available with AJL. Are there any questions? Are you all using AJL to track your employer information?
Hey, Shanae, excuse me, Shanae, if
Go
I
ahead.
can real quick, Chantel, can we put you on the spot and can you talk about how Central uses one account to in AJL to document your employer services and your employer contacts in your
Sure.
area?
Sure, I'll be glad to. Thank you, Elroy. For Central, on our business service team, we have an account in AJL that is known as the Central Business Service Team. All of our team members have access to the same AJL account. So when our team is out in the field and we bring back job orders or we bring back a retention strategy or something like that nature, our staff from DWS, our partners, enter that into AJL, and then we enter it into our applicant recruiting system, which is Jazz HR, and those two systems mirror each other. So what that allows us to do is we know within our team who is over that job order, even though that employer will have one contact for that information. So even though we all work to fill the job orders and we all work together on the retention strategy, that employer has one contact. That eliminates duplication of services through our team. It also supports the teamwork that the legislation says that we need to have with our partner agencies. So DWS, the vet reps, they are all active on AJL in that account, and we all have access through the same password and the same login to the AJL account. So it's been very successful for us. We're able to track our employer contacts. We're able to track our employers, the ones that come back, and then we can troubleshoot and look at customer service of why those employers did not come back. We can keep track of our placements and all the services that we offer. It also allows us to set dates to follow up. So when we put a job order in as the business service team, we track that and we make sure that if it goes 15 days over or 30 days over, whatever that employer specifies, it sends us a note. So it's a good way to make sure that we provide our employers great customer service through the AJL system, as well as through Jazz HR. Did
Thank
that?
you. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that answered my question, Chantel. Thank you so much. I know Cora asked about how to one go about setting up that. Sandy Monaco and Stephanie Robinson are both on the line. Do you guys mind responding to how a business service team can go about setting a account up like that?
Just notify one of us and we can help them get it done.
Thank you, Sandy.
Sure.
And if y'all look in the chat box, I placed Sandy's email address in there. I'll also ask Miss Robinson if she will put her email address in the chat box, okay? Thanks, Shanae.
Thank you all. Thank you. Okay, by a show of virtual hands, how many are registered with Workforce GPS on their website? Just a show of virtual hands. So we got 5. The poll keeps going up, keeps going up. Good deal. I need at least 50% of the participants today, at least 50. We only have 7 so far. Okay, now the number keeps going up.
Shanae, I don't know how to do my virtual hand.
In the top. So we have 13.
Can I do this the old-fashioned way?
13. Okay, so 14 with Elroy. Need one more person. Okay, so we're good. So we have at least 50% of the participants on today's call that actually use Workforce GPS. So real quick, I just want to do an overview. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Good deal. So right here in the right-hand corner, we have hello, and then you have the login. So if you're not registered, once you get in and you get ready to log in, if you are registered, but if you're not, if you go down at the bottom, you can create your Workforce GPS account. It's free. It's a lot of information that's out there on Workforce GPS that you can pull up if you have questions about a lot of stuff that deals with WIOA. You can just go in here and just you stay for hours, honestly. There are a lot of webinars. There are a lot of resource tools that you can actually click on and go in and view. scrolling down here, once you go in, you're going to see this screen here. You have My Workforce GPS, you have resources, ETA grants, communities, events, member directory, help, and about. I wanted to pull up this screen to let you know once you go in and you start moving around, and there's a lot of information out there, but if you get into the habit of saving documents, you can go back to your My Content and actually look at the information that you've actually saved over time. You can update your profile, your memberships. All this information can be maintained in Workforce GPS. Again, this is a great resource tool. This is my member profile, and this shows like the past events that I have, those that are upcoming that I've actually registered for. So, you know, you go in and you pretty much register. When you get the email, and you probably forget, it'll put it in here for you to let you know what you actually signed up for. And then I also wanted to show you the resource tab where you can go in here and click on these different tabs and actually pull up these various resources. If you want to learn more about basic skills literacy, there are 584 different entries for it. Career pathways, business services. Here we go right here. You got 614 that you can go in here and learn more information about. So again, this is under the resource tabs. This is the different grants that are out there, information that you can learn about grants programs. So all of this is under Workforce GPS. So this is a great tool. And matter of fact, I think I have this saved when you open up my email, my internet. This is one of the links that are actually saved. So these are the different communities that you can click on and learn more information that has been added in here on Workforce GPS under the communities. Again, we just went over the events page. This one is one of the actual communities here. So if I want to learn more about WIA grant resources, I can go here. It tells you when it was posted. It's a lot of information that's out here. If I want to learn more about monitoring, how to apply for a grant, just click on these various links and it'll take you right to the source. This one is going to be the events that I have. And then the member directory, if you go in and you wanted to, just say you're on a webinar and you hear someone's name and you're like, well, I want to know more information about that person. You go to the member directory, type in last name or first name. And as you see, I'm here. I'm a part of Workforce GPS, and it tells you what organization I'm with. And if you click on the email, it'll give you email. So that's me. So that's under the directory portion. And I want to say that's going to be the last. Yeah, that's the last screenshot. But if you have not registered for Workforce GPS, please do so. From time to time, you will receive an invite from me saying, hey, I think this would be beneficial for your local area if you would go ahead and register for this webinar. So just make sure if you haven't registered already, please go in there and register and look at the different resource tabs that are available for you. Are there any questions about AJL or Workforce GPS before I turn it over to Ms. Lovett? No questions for me? Okay, well, at this time, I will turn it over to Ms. Beverly Lovett. She's going to give you some important updates about Salesforce, and we're going to go from there. Ms. Lovett.
Good morning. Thank you, Shanae. I'm a little under the weather, so hopefully I'll get through this. This morning, Shanae mentioned Salesforce as well as Chantel and mentioning the AJL system. Salesforce is a little bit different, but also there is some duplication between that and AJL. One of the areas in Salesforce, if you're not familiar, it is customer relationship management software. And I'm not going to go through all of this because I only have about 5 minutes, but just wanted to show you how Salesforce looks. Again, it's a customer relationship management software. And one of the things that we're working with the Salesforce team and the vendor is actually trying to streamline the areas of Salesforce in the accounts for our business services team leads. So in here, you'll just see I put together just this test record, and there's extensive, and I mean extensive information that you can enter in this software and utilize this software. But what we're trying to do is actually, again, streamline it and make it more efficient and not a duplication between Salesforce and AJL. So I'm just scrolling down to some of the areas. So what we actually did is, and we'll be following up with Salesforce and also looking at some of the areas of Salesforce and how we can import information in AJL, because that's going to be important, that we will be able to import this information into AJL or export our information there, possibly back to AJL. So one of the things that we've done is actually put together a survey for some of those menus that you just saw in this area, in this screen. You'll see like the details, the account name, if it's active, what type of customer, the account owner, description, and so on. So what we've done in this survey is we've actually put this together with some of that information, for which is employer contact information that can be utilized and set up in Salesforce. Again, we're looking at importing it as well and exporting the information for new accounts for the company or the employer. So what we're going to do is send this survey out, and on the survey, folks will be able to see this is just account information, okay, with fields that are actually in Salesforce. These are fields in Salesforce. And what we'd like for folks to do is take a look at the fields and click either yes or no that you feel like is important for Salesforce to be utilized in the system, where you can actually put this data in the system. Disregard any typos, because there may be some in there, and we're scrubbing those, and we're still making a couple of other changes. So you will see those here. You'll see address information, company summary, company background, as well as skills needed and in industry information. So we are going to send that out to the group. And so you all can actually complete this survey. It's about 3 or 4 sections in this survey with information. And again, just select those fields that you would require, that you may need for an absolute minimum for information for business services report. And then after we put that together, then we'll also be following up with this survey with the actual Salesforce vendor and see if they can actually scrub some of these fields out of the system to make it, or I should say, not really remove them, but actually, not remove, but what am I trying to say? Test them in the system and or minimize them in the system, so you will only be seeing those fields that are here in that would be in the survey. So pretty much, Shanae, that's all I have right now for the Salesforce survey for the company and employer fields.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lovett. Are there
You're
any
welcome.
questions so far? Any questions? Okay, if there are no questions, of course, we will be following up with to our summit with this information to you all. But if there are no questions, we'll move right along on our agenda. So next up, we have Miss Gina Wendell for Ready for Life. Of course, you all are familiar with the governor's initiative for Ready for Life. So she's here to provide us a little bit more details about that information. So Miss Gina, it's on you. Let's see here. She muted. Let's see. Okay, no, I don't see her listed
I'm
on
not
here.
seeing her, Shanae.
Yeah, okay. We'll just come back. If she jumps on, we'll just come back and add her on and go from there. So Miss Mary, are you available? Mary Stafford?
I am here, Miss Jones. Good
Hey, how are you
morning.
doing? We have
I'm
Miss
doing
Mary.
well.
We have Miss Mary Stafford. Well, she's going to give us an overview for Skills to Lunch, and we will listen to her at this time. Thank you so much for joining.
Of course, I just want to say I really appreciate you all and the energy you're bringing me on a Monday morning. So
Well, great.
thank you for that. Thank you so much. Are y'all able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good deal. So, oh, that's actually the wrong one. Let me do a different one. Let's see. Technical difficulties here, guys. Let's see here. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to kind of jump in a few slides ahead. So I don't want to keep us past our break time. But Skills to Launch is formed through the Innovation Hub, which is located in downtown North Little Rock. If you have never been here, I highly recommend you come and see our space. We are here to give resources and access to the community members that have that kind of entrepreneurship mindset. And so we provide the space and equipment and materials for them to come in and create and make and kind of be productive members here in Arkansas and in our economy. And so one of the things that we are also able to provide is workforce development opportunities. And with that is the formation of Skills to Launch. And so we are able to provide not only the hands-on technical training aspect, but we're also here to give those soft skills development training through our Skills to Launch program. And what we found was there's that skills gap, right? And there are these high school graduates that just they're ready to enter the workforce and college might not be for them. And so we want to provide that opportunity for those individuals that are just ready to enter the workforce. They're ready to be productive members and just need a little bit of that training. And so what we do is we're completely grant funded. This is scholarship based. It is free for all of our participants that are accepted to the program. And so what we do is we're able to provide 10 weeks of technical training with that soft skills portion as well. And so we put them through 10 weeks of training, and through the 3 cohorts, we've been able to help over 40 individuals launch their careers, right, through skilled trade training. So I'll kind of go to the next slide here and show you kind of what the journey is like for our participants, right? Of course, it starts with that initial interest, and they'll fill out our application. From there, they get to hear from me, and we'll have an interview to just talk about what their goals are and where do they really see themselves having a career. And then, of course, after that, we understand the importance of safety training. So we're able to provide the OSHA 10 training before they even start their 10 weeks of that hands-on skills development. But like I said, an important piece is that soft skills training. And so we're able to work with the adult education department through Pulaski County, and we're very thankful for that partnership. And so we do the resume building, we do the mock interviews, we're able to provide that development on what is work ethic, right? And what does it mean to be a reliable employee and have really good, effective communication skills. So that's a really important piece for me of the program, but also, of course, that second to last piece, the hands-on training, right? But then that last piece is my favorite puzzle pieces, and that's working with those students to just kind of see where's their perfect fit at the end of this training and where do they really see themselves growing. Here are some numbers of us. So we've been able to provide training in those specific tracks that you see on the left side. We started this program in the fall of 2020. And so, right there in the midst of COVID, we were still able to graduate individuals and get them placed in trade specific employment opportunities. So as you see, we've helped over 40 individuals graduate our program. 35 of them are out there working in the workforce. They're making it happen. And then of course, 25 are working specifically in those trade specific industries. So what does that really look like in percentages? 81% job placement rate right now for our program, which we're really excited about. Just this most recent cohort we graduated, we had 95% of those students get jobs. So we see the success in this program, and we're definitely wanting to continue it. 71% trade specific job placement for all 3 cohorts that we've graduated. So we're very, very happy with that. These are just some of the places that our students have employment opportunities at, whether it's a job offer, they're working there right now. Caterpillar is our most recent addition to that. We have a welder that is now doing their apprenticeship program. So we're really excited about that. But as you see, it's a variety, right? We don't want to limit our students to working specifically in one area. We're here to kind of give them those variety of opportunities for employment. These are just a list of our partners that we have. Of course, Ms. Jones mentioned the Office of Skills Development. They did fund our first cohort, and me and my director just got back from a presentation last week for them in order to fund our Skills to Launch program, hopefully for an entire year. So we're really excited and keeping our fingers crossed on that one. But we have different instructional partners that offer that hands-on training. Pulaski Tech Business and Industry Center is a great partner of ours that offers our welding and our industrial maintenance training, and those have been very successful tracks for us. But our community partners always vary, and we don't ask for one specific thing from them. We're there to say, you know, obviously if they can offer a site visit or a Q&A with a shop foreman, we're very thankful for that. If it's a job shadow day, you know, just to let these students see what a day in the job is like at these different places of employment, also some hands-on opportunities. We've partnered with Habitat for Humanity and St. Joseph's Center for our construction track to be able to do that kind of hands-on job opportunity for them. So they get to kind of do some, whether it's building a house for Habitat or doing some kind of rehab, remodeling out there at St. Joseph's. Of course, where would we be without goals, right? So these are the goals for Skills to Launch. This is where we really want to take our program. Obviously, we don't want to just stay put in the list of partners that we have. We want to continue growing that. We were really close with our 100% job placement rate last cohort, so we definitely feel like that's within reach. But of course, you know, we really want to be able to expand this opportunity to the state, and I feel like this is where Workforce Development Services can really be a partner in that and helping us expand and grow throughout the state. And of course, we're working very closely with OSD on this one, right? Becoming a registered pre-apprenticeship program throughout the state. But that in a nutshell, in a very quick nutshell, is what Skills to Launch is. So I really hope that we get the opportunity to just connect as much as possible with you all, whether it's going to job fairs or receiving some students that you all work with. We're here to provide that opportunity to anyone that wants it and is ready to enter the workforce. So I thank you all for letting me chat.
Oh, thank you, Mary. Thank you so much. We do have one question in the chat box for you. Does the Innovation Hub have any online courses?
We actually, not as far as Skills to Launch, there's not online courses, but we do a lot of programming through our education classes, right? So if you go to arhub.org, we offer a lot of workshops and classes for individuals that are interested in what we have to offer, whether it's a welding, a shop class, we do artwork, we do pottery, we have a t-shirt printing studio. So it's a lot of stuff that we're able to offer here at the Hub. And Skills to Launch is just one of those programs that we're lucky to have.
A good deal. I did get a chance to go through the actual Innovation Hub during the Data Science Summit, and it is a sight to see. So if you get a chance, please go over and visit. It's really nice, really nice. Are there any other questions for Mary? Any other questions? Thank you so much again for being on our agenda and sharing the information with us. And we look forward to speaking with you a little bit later on.
For sure. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Have a great day. All right. Next up, we have our LMI overview by Mr. Spencer Griffin. Take it away, Spencer.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and apologize for clowning in the chat a little bit. Had my coffee this morning. My son actually had a good night's rest for the first time in forever. So, you know, I'm feeling it this Monday. But let's just, for those who don't know, my name's Spencer Griffin. I am a research project analyst and graphic designer for labor market information. So I put together all of their publications through data visualizations and things like that. So this is where hopefully, I know we had a question early on about publications, so hopefully I'll be able to provide you with that. And I'll go ahead and drop 2 links in the chat. There's one for this first specific publication I'm going to talk about. And then here is the general publications page is the second link. So there we'll talk about kind of an overview of all of them. So let me start by sharing my screen. Let me see if I can make it work. All right, are we seeing everything?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, we'll start off with this first one. It's the using labor market information for employers. So since this is all about businesses and employers, this is a relatively new publication we came up with, because typically we're geared toward kind of our bread and butter is our Career Watch Arkansas magazine geared toward high school students or career orientation students. But this one shows that our information is valuable to nearly everybody, employee, employer, students, anybody. So this first page, you'll see it shows competitive wages. So talks about being able to develop a pay scale, entry wages when recruiting, and you can see it's broken down by area across the state. You can also see the workforce availability by compensation and skills match. It's just it is probably the most common data request we get, as far as in my case anyway. We'll get calls all the time. They'll ask about what's a competitive wage for X occupation, and so that's kind of the information we provide in that realm. Then the next page, we've got projections. So these are available in both publication form and through the data search tool, which I'll talk about later. I'm going to try not to get too long-winded here because I think we're supposed. So we've got short-term state and local and long-term state and local projections. Term is tenure, and shows things like the top growing and declining industries and occupation, and what affects those, exits, transfers, things like that. And then this third page here, we've got workforce location. So where's the talent coming from? And you know, it's good information for employers. It's short-term projections paired with the educational pipeline. So, you know, it shows where all the workers are and where they could come from if they're recruiting. And then the demand occupations, this is also available in our Hot 45 publication, which I'll get to as well. So this is again based on short-term projections, and it's sorted by skill level. So you got basic skill, moderate skill, and high skill. And you can see the mean annual wage and total annual openings as well. Next, we've got the education pipeline. So this just gives us various educational attainment statistics throughout the state, including mean annual wage, depending on the degree received, training programs offered in Arkansas, and at which institutions that they're offered at. We'll go to workforce availability. So this is broken down into some cases really small, like you can even go down to county and city. So we've got skills gap assessment, and that's showing if there's an imbalance amongst job and workers, which will further explain, you know, the supply and demand when it comes to hiring. If you're struggling to find workers, this can kind of explain where that's coming from. And then we've got labor force, employment, unemployment rate by city, thanks to the labor market report from BLS. And that's a quarterly report that they put out. And we'll get to that here in this next web page here in a minute. Then we've got local area profiles. It kind of tells you a little bit of everything about the area as far as labor statistics goes. I mean, it's really just an overall summary, and it's even got this little blurb. It's got a little bit about the area as well. And then the last page on this publication is the customized data search, which I'll also talk about more in depth here in a minute. It's probably the most versatile and useful tool when it comes to Discover Arkansas. So you can like customize your tables and just find a wealth of different labor market information depending on the category that you want to look at. You can see this one in the example. We'll talk about OES and wage rates by industry and occupation. Tells you the employment, entry level, median wage, experience, all that good stuff. So that next link that I dropped in the chat was for the main publications page. So we've got a little bit of everything here. You can see we've got a lot of publications. Obviously, not all of them are going to pertain to maybe what you're looking for, but I think you'll find that some of them definitely do. This labor market information, or labor market report rather, is the report you saw earlier that included the civilian labor statistics by city. Also just so much information in this publication. Like I said, it's put together by BLS. I think I said quarterly earlier. That's not true. It's actually monthly. So you'll get really up-to-date information on labor force statistics, non-farm payroll jobs, production worker statistics, MSA statistics, all the way down to city and county and workforce development area statistics. And let's see, one of them that I put together is this Arkansas labor market and economic report. And I'm not going to click through all these and go through them. I don't want to take up too much of your time. But this is an exhaustive publication when it comes to the state's labor market information. It includes statistics across the state and workforce development areas, statistics like population, labor force statistics, unemployment rates, income, employment statistics, occupation wage information, and just so much more. Got a ton of graphs and maps in there to kind of help you out. And we've got, let's see, Hot 45 that I talked about earlier. It's a standalone publication as well, if I can find it. So that's the one that tells you a little bit about the hot jobs currently, and of course I'm not being able to find it, but it's there it is, and it's broken down, like I said, by skill level. We've got the standalone projections publications. Those are very data driven, so you're just going to see a whole lot of tables and a ton of numbers there. But if you want to see, short term, 2-year projections, 10-year projections, that's where you'll find those. Then we've got the wage survey is also part of our publications, and that is based off the occupational employment statistics. And we'll go back to the home page and I'll show you the data search tool real quick. We've got this data search tool. We'll look at, like I said, we'll look at occupation and the OES. And you can see it brings up a pre-made table, but you're able to select the different attributes you want, whether it's the area you're looking for, the year, anything like that. And if you need any help, we've got this little data search guide button up here. And you can click that and open a Word document, and it'll show you a little bit about the data search tool and kind of how to optimally use it to the best of your ability. And I think that's all that I've got. So sorry I kind of rushed through that. I know we're a little short for time right now, so I just wanted to try to get that all out there.
No, you're fine. Thank you so much, Spencer. Are there any questions for Spencer? Lots of great information.
Yeah, and if you need any of it, you can obviously download it or shoot me an email. I guess I'll put my email in the chat real quick, and
Okay.
you
Yes,
can we can always send those out free of charge.
Okay. He said no charge for your information.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Any questions for Spencer? No questions? Okay, thank you again, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
All righty, we're moving right along. We're gonna listen to Miss Jessica Caldwell. She's going to give us an overview of the ACT Work Keys CRC information. Miss Jessica, take it away.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you, guys, for allowing me the opportunity to briefly speak with you about career readiness certifications, also known as the CRC. And for our purposes this morning, I'm going to refer to it basically as CRC because saying career readiness certificates over and over is kind of a mouthful and making my tongue get all messed up. So, okay, so when I talk about the work career readiness certificates, I'm going to only say CRC and we all be on the same page, right?
Yes.
Okay. I know this morning our focus is to share how the employers can benefit from CRCs. However, I want to share, let me see if I can get my slide to come up here. Yeah, there we go. However, this morning, I cannot really talk to you about the CRC unless explaining about work keys. And I'm not going into the weeds, but I am going to talk about how work keys and CRC go together. As you can see, that work keys is a skill assessments tool which contains the three components for developing the CRC. It's the skill assessment part, the instructional support, and job profiling. And we'll go back to job profiling just a little bit later. But the work keys
Hold on just a second, Jessica. You're not sharing your screen anymore.
Okay, let me see. Is it sharing now?
Not yet.
Jeez.
Let's see here.
Okay, let me try this one. It says it's about to, is what it says.
Okay. Let's see if it'll load for you. And if not, I can share your presentation.
Okay.
Okay. There it is. Good job. We got it.
Okay. All right. Let me go back just to this particular screen when we're talking about work keys. And I was saying that it has several components to help you develop, the individual develop their skill levels and the employer's participation. So we have the skill assessments, the instructional support, and the job profiling. We'll go back to job profiling in just a little bit. But I just had to mention about the work keys being the skill assessment tool because the CRC is a product of the of work keys. And when we talk about the certificates, it's a portable credential. It certifies to the employer that the individual is job ready. So portable credential simply means that the CRC is recognized nationally by any employer and the certificates have no expiration date. And the second one is pretty much self-explanatory because it just says this individual is job ready, they can understand, and they are teachable. We talk about who can benefit from career readiness certificates, the job seeker, employers, educators, and the community. These are a few of the benefits for the employer, since that's what we want to talk about this morning, how the certificate can benefit the employer. It helps to reduce turnover over time and waste while increasing morale of the staff because they are more comfortable, they feel better about what they're doing, and they're teachable. And this also improves the effectiveness of the training dollars for the employer. He's not having to worry about so much training an individual going through the process and all of a sudden that person just leaves the job and he's lost money trying to train an individual. It helps him streamline his hiring process by sometimes in his job announcements, he can say that certificates are preferred or if he's had the job profile, which I mentioned a moment ago, that is when ACT comes in and does an assessment of this particular position and says it is eligible for level whatever, for gold, silver, whichever. And in that time, he can say he wants applicants, or he prefer applicants that have a gold, silver, whatever certificate. And it also takes the guesswork out of selection decisions. And when I say the guesswork out of selected decisions, I'm referring to him wondering if that person is eligible to work in the United States or not. Am I hiring an eligible individual to work? And it meets EEO requirements. Now, this is really not going into the weeds, but it tells you that all Arkansas residents are eligible to participate to receive a CRC. They just have to be a resident of Arkansas, a U.S. citizen, or a non-U.S. citizen must have authorized papers to work in the U.S. and be 18 years or older. I know we used to serve individuals that were 16 high school students, but not anymore. And my screen is going. Let me see if I can do it this way. Okay, is the page still showing?
Yes.
My
You're on the
screen's
work
showing.
keys and the career readiness certificate page.
Okay. As I said, there are two components of for successfully completing your certification to earn a certificate, and that would be the curriculum and the assessments. It's not a hard thing to do. There's no long wait to earn your CRC. The curriculum part is a self-paced instructional study that's online that individuals work on at their own pace. And once they successfully complete the curriculum, they're referred to one of the testing sites to earn the CRC. And best of all, it's free to all of the customers. ADWS absorbs all the costs for the curriculum and the train and the assessments. Work keys and the career readiness certificates has 4 levels. The first one, certificates, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. The platinum is the highest level that a person can earn. And it is one that many employers have begun to request. Now, this is just a quick fact sheet. If you pertaining to CRC and the job seeker, in case you need to know anything about that when you're talking to the employers, it just lists several, it just lists several criteria for the job seeker. And I don't think I need to read through each one of those. And I am trying to keep us on schedule as well. However, these are easy steps for job seekers to earn the CRC, and that's a little cheat sheet you can have of your own. We have employer brochures that we've made recently. We've sent them out to the local offices, are about to send them out to local offices. Some of the workforce centers have some already because they've been having job fairs. If you need some, just let us know. You can contact me here. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, you can contact me at my contact information here on the screen. And if I'm not available, you can contact Ms. Patricia Williams. Her number is 501-320-1705. That's kind of a quick sketch of the CRC. And that concludes that for my presentation, but do we have any questions?
Any questions or comments for Ms. Jessica? No comments or questions? Okay, well, thank you, ma'am, for the information, for sharing with us today. You are greatly appreciated.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
we're gonna piggyback real quick. I do want to make sure that we do cover the Ready for Life, and we do have some great speakers that have volunteered to jump in and add information on it. So we have Chief Elroy Willoughby that's going to give us an update on the Ready for Life initiative from the governor. Mr. Willoughby.
Thank you. And I know I'm standing in between us and our break, but very quickly, thought it very important for us to share a little quick information about the governor's Ready for Life initiative. And as you can see on the screen, on January 13, 2021, the governor announced this Ready for Life initiative. And when somebody puts their money where their mouth is, they're serious about it. And so the governor allocated $14.7 million of his emergency education relief funds for Ready for Life. It's a partnership between Chamber of Commerce, Economic Development, Division of Workforce Services, K-12, institutions of higher education. But what Ready for Life is, it combines information about education and employment, make it easy for Arkansans to enhance their education or change careers. And very quickly, I'm going to jump over here to their actual website and just kind of give you a flavor for what it does. It has some information about jobs, those jobs that are available. You can search that, as you can see, by keyword, by job group, search by zip code. There are some testimonials on here. Who should join Ready for Life? Individuals, educators, businesses, agencies. And I wanted to really come down here to system features. You can you can sign up for Ready for Life. You can set yourself up with a user profile. You can build a resume, find out the skills you need to land your dream job, earn badges, connect with businesses, actually apply for jobs and internships, look at company profiles, get more information beyond just your traditional job vacancy announcement, find out more about the company and the positions that they have available. Employers can post jobs. And then there's also some training videos that they have out here available on Ready for Life. But I would like to make one quick statement. And I know that Board Director Chad Brown and Employment Assistance Unit AD Eddie Thomas can attest. We have met with the project leader, Mr. Rick Neal. And what Ready for Life, the governor envisions this as not to supplant any of our existing resources, but it's just a complementary piece. The governor is really pushing that we are able to, in this pandemic and hopefully soon post-pandemic era, that we have more tools available to both our supply side and our demand side of our workforce development system. That's what Ready for Life is. I will put the link to the website here down in the chat box. But I would invite everybody to just go out and take a look at it. Director Brown has had the state board meeting agendas. We've had Mr. Rick come before them. The state board membership, they love this this new tool. AD Thomas has had the Ready for Life, Mr. Rick Neal, come before our local workforce board directors. So we're really trying to help get the word out, and we want to use this. A lot of public funds have been invested in this, and we want to use it to help our workforce development system. And with that, I will shut up, Ms. Shanae.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Great information. To already go out and look at the website. AD Thomas just put it in the link, what Elroy was referring to. Please go out there on the website and check it out. It's a lot of information, great resource tool as well. Right now it's 11:03 and we're going to pause real quick if everyone is okay for about a 5-minute break instead of the 10. But if you can go and come back real quick and we'll pick back up with our last portion of our agenda item for today. And we're going to hear from our local areas about the best practices that they have going in their local areas. But we'll take a quick break. Let's meet back at, let's go ahead and just do the 7 and meet back at 11:10. And we'll get back to it. All right, break time. into the swing of our agenda, and we will now listen to our local areas. Hopefully everyone is back. We'll get started with the first person that's up, Ms. Tania Overton. She's going to talk about networking and building sector partnerships. Ms. Tania, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good morning.
Good morning and happy Monday, everyone.
Yes.
So one of the things I feel that the Northwest District does really well is build and maintain meaningful relationships. And we know that building rapport is essential to meeting our participants and our employers where they are and taking them to where they need to be. So some of the benefits of doing this has been increased engagement. It helps to build our brand and establish trust, helps to strengthen our communications and referrals, and it may also open up doors of opportunities for our participants and employers that they may not otherwise have. So our organization works together as a team to establish these meaningful relationships. We have our career coaches and some of our other support staff that engage in these coordinated outreach efforts to increase our presence in our district. And so strengthening sector partnerships require that we understand, as was mentioned earlier, the needs of our employers and also the needs within our specific communities. And we must also ask the right questions. So I am fairly new to this position. I've been at the Northwest District for about 4 months now. And so as I was getting to know the area and interviewing some of our employers and Chamber of Commerce executives, some of the questions that I would ask were, if you had to conduct a SWOT analysis of your industry or area, what would you consider to be its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? What are the biggest challenges employers and job seekers are facing right now? What are businesses looking for that they cannot find in the community? How are employment needs changing? And how would you describe our business climate? So I feel like these questions are important to developing like a needs assessment and putting effective strategies into place. So I want to provide you all with a networking example of what our organization is doing next month. So on March 29th, our organization is hosting what's called a Circle of Success Community Resource Fair at our local community college. And this is where organizations in our district can come together to learn about what each agency does and how we can work collaboratively to serve our district. So we know that WIOA mandates that, the workforce boards develop strategies to establish and sustain lasting partnerships. So in order to do this, we have to actively seek opportunities to collaborate and maintain these ongoing, transparent, and consistent communications. So the resource fair for me is a great way for knowledge sharing and kind of understanding what services are truly available in our community and how it helps us to identify any gaps in our services and what may need to be expanded upon, and will further assist with kind of streamlining our services. Excuse me, let me grab a sip of water. So it'll also help us to ensure that businesses and job seekers have access to the most current information and services that can lead to positive employment outcomes. So I kind of wanted to hit on a comment that was made in the chat earlier. I'm not sure who made it, but it was in regards to, I think, those who have been formerly incarcerated. So one of the organizations that we invited to this community resource fair is Oasis of NWA. And they provide transitional living assistance to those who have been incarcerated and are looking to enter or re-enter the workforce. And so from a business services perspective, this is important and the collaboration is necessary because it will allow me to learn what the barriers to re-entry are for these individuals and the conversations that I need to have with employers, whether it be, what incentives are available for hiring ex-offenders or helping the employer to establish a second chance policy. So all of the members of our business services team are expected to create and strengthen these business relations in a coordinated and targeted manner. It's not just myself. And the team will be responsible for evaluating and monitoring our just business satisfaction in general, and standardizing our business service outreach materials for local area adoption, and also identifying appropriate business solutions that can assist us with building overall rapport. So I'm going to open it up to hear from some of the other districts to see if there are other creative ways in which you all are networking and can build relationships.
Okay, thank you, Tania. Anyone want to add more information for Tania on networking and building relationships? And by the way, Tania, I think that's an awesome opportunity about the Circle of Success. That's really good.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. I see we have a comment from Spencer. It says we currently have many of our publications in English and Spanish, but I know Northwest Region has needs for materials in Marshallese. Yes, that is correct. We've explored translating our publications to Marshallese. We don't have an in-house translator for that language. Do you have a resource that does, or is that something you have to outsource? So no, we currently do not have a translator that we are using in-house. That is something that we would have to outsource. There is another agency in the area that's very new and upcoming that is similar to ours, and they have all of their programs translated into Marshallese. So I have a note here to reach out to them to see who they are using and if that's a resource that we can use as well.
That's great. Thank you, Tania.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving next to Ms. Chantel Robinson. She's going to discuss effective recruiting tips. Ms. Chantel.
Thank you, Ms. Shanae. Good morning again, everyone. Almost good afternoon. Today, I'm going to talk about some recruiting strategies that we currently use. And in preparation for this, I also went online and looked at the best practices for employers as they recruit, because we want to move like a business as a business service team, and we also want to move at the speed of business. So I was looking at what employers are doing for effective recruiting and how we could align that with our workforce system. As most everyone in the conference knows, we use both AJL as a recruiting tool along with Jazz HR. And Jazz HR is an applicant tracking system that posts to job boards like Indeed, ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn. There are 24 options for the boards that Jazz HR posts to. So what that does for mom and pop and smaller companies that may not have marketing or recruiting dollars, we are able to provide that service for the employers. But as a strategy for recruiting, we know that to successfully identify, attract, and hire the best candidates, we're going to have to think outside the box in this market. Its recruitment looks different today, and it's going to take every partner working together, leaving no stone unturned in order for us to recruit and satisfy the needs of our employers. One of the strategies that I found very interesting is treating our candidates like customers. So we as a business service team know that the businesses are our customers, but our job seekers are our customers as well. A lot of times when we're recruiting, we are the first impression of the job seeker for that company. So we want to make sure that our first impression reflects the company that we're recruiting for well. We want to make them feel that that company is going to be a great fit for them. We want to make sure that we are knowledgeable about the company as we go out and recruit the job seekers. That's going to be one of the most effective ways to recruit, is to make sure we're aware of what that company needs and what they look for. One good way to do that is to go out to our companies. And I know that's been limited previously because of COVID, but right now it's not. So we can go out and visit our companies, see exactly what they do, talk to the HR, ask them for a tour of their facilities, because the next thing is we need to make sure they have effective job descriptions. We want to make sure that we make the titles as specific as possible when we go to recruit. And we have been able to engage in conversation with employers and say, we're not getting the hits that we need to on resumes, and here's why we think you're not. We think we should explore different titles as you recruit. So we want to make sure the job descriptions and the jobs that we're recruiting for are effectively displayed in our job orders, both in AJL and in our case, in Jazz HR. We want to make sure it has a captivating summary for our employers. We want to sell and market our employers to our job seekers, just like we serve and market our services to those employers. You want to make sure that we know the essentials of that job order. And then one of the very interesting things that I found as I did the research for this, 72% of job seekers say that culture is now just as important as hours and rates of pay. So we as a business service team, as we're recruiting, should look at the culture of that company, have the company describe what their culture is so we can make sure that we match our job seekers to those jobs effectively. Another way, we all have talked about using social media. We should remember that social media is a two-way conversation. When we are instant messaging someone, we are talking to them on Facebook, or we're responding to something on Instagram or LinkedIn, we want to make sure that if they are not the right fit for that company, explore other options that we may have open in Arkansas JobLink or other businesses that we know. For example, if you have an environmental health technician that applies for a job and you know they're not a good fit for that company that you're looking for, but you can refer them to another company that may not have a job posting open, that you know that they do that kind of work. So you can market them to that employer, and 9 times out of 10, the employer will say, yes, send them over to me for an interview. Then you've provided that employer an additional value-added service. You're able to get a placement and things of that nature. Another one that you may want to explore as we recruit, since we are state funded, federally funded, and there are rules that we can't market and do our posted job ads and things like that, we have encouraged our employers as a buy-in to sponsor those ads. We post them, but we have employers that will go in and sponsor those ads and post it on their websites and their Facebook groups or pages as well. Another way that we should recruit is we should look at untargeted, untapped demographics. When we look at, as a workforce system, the clients that we serve, the customers that we serve, we want to make sure that we tap into all of those demographics. We want to revisit past candidates. A lot of times when we post jobs, we look immediately for the applicants that apply, and we should always go through those. But on the other hand, we have a source in AJL that we can search for candidates that have highlighted words like forklift operator or program operator, whatever. We need to go back through AJL resumes. We have access in the Jazz HR system to resumes, so we can target those specific skilled individuals. We want to make sure that we attend industry-related meetups or civic meetups, things in our community where we know job seekers are. For example, those untapped elements that I was talking about, like our food pantries. If you know a food pantry that has a giveaway or gives away boxes on one day, set up a table for the Arkansas Workforce Center. Take your job posting, talk to them about their resumes, leave no stone unturned as we're recruiting through this environment. And then we should also have a person on our team that is very specific to the industries that we target recruit for. For example, in our area, healthcare is in demand. We want to make sure that the team member knows the ebbs and flow and has the pulse, their finger on the pulse of the industry that we are recruiting for. So those, one last thing before I stop, and I'm paying attention to my time, I don't want to go over, but we should also look at the full recruitment cycle. Most of us, a lot of us in business service just look at recruiting as we're going to post a job, we leave it in AJL or leave it in Jazz HR, but we have to work those job orders. And that recruitment cycle consists of sourcing, where we're going to get the applicants from, screening the applicants. We want to make sure that the interviews are set up. Have we scheduled that? And then we want to follow up with the employer on onboarding. Most people leave their positions within a 3-week period. When we have done retention strategies and we have done surveys for the employers to see why their turnover rate is so high, that is always one of the largest, is how employers onboard their employees. So that is a service that we as a business service team can provide, whether through all of our partners. So the full cycle recruitment is very important, I think. And then as a team for recruitment, we should schedule SMART goals. We should have something specific in mind, a specific project, how we're going to recruit, measurable outcomes. We want to look at that. And then we look at as a team, is this achievable, realistic, and time-based, and learn from our mistakes with recruiting, because right now, no stone left unturned, all hands on deck. That's what we've told our team in Central. We're going to explore every option to recruit for our employers. And I'll be glad to take any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Chantel. Are there questions for Chantel? No questions. You all are doing a great job. I really like the SMART goals, being specific, and I like the fact that you all are open for change. So, and then you're pushing that towards the employers also, for them to be open for change. So, great job, great job. Any questions? Okay,
I have
moving
a question.
right along.
I do have
Okay,
one.
go
So,
ahead, Talia.
and this is for anybody. So, helping to reach and recruit our underserved populations. This may be those who don't have access to transportation, who aren't on social media. You know, what strategies can we put in place to try to reach these populations that aren't so easy to reach?
That's a good question.
We have in Central, we have reached out to our Spanish speaking population by talking to our nonprofits. We've reached out to single moms through church groups and other single organizations. We've contacted our state agencies such as Child Support Enforcement, our judges in the area that work with youth or offenders that will be coming back out reentry into the workforce. So I think we have to, social media is not the fix all end all for recruiting. We still need flyers to post out for our individuals. We need to make sure our staff is aware of what positions we're recruiting for. Just being involved in the community, thinking about, okay, we have put up flyers in tattoo parlors, we've put up in barber shops, whatever we need to do to reach that demographic, that's what we do.
Thank you, Chantel.
Thank you. Thank you. Great comments, great comments. Just changing up the way, you know, we used to do business and keeping in mind, okay, this is not the same way anymore. We can't do things the same way. So be open for change. Thank you so much for those comments. All righty. Well, moving right along, capitalizing on OJTs and work-based learning opportunities with employers. We're going to hear from Ms. Taylor Smith from North Central. Hi, Taylor. You're on mute. She said her microphone isn't working for some reason. I've had that experience before, so you're okay.
Shanae, is there a dial-in option that we have that she could possibly use?
I don't have a dial-in on this call.
Okay.
Quite possibly. Hey, you can call me. Taylor, can you give me a call on my cell? And I can put you on the speakerphone and they can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you ready for my number? Okay, it's 501-414-2748. Okay. Okay, good deal.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so sorry about that. I have a new computer and we haven't got it all set up yet. There's some privacy notification problems that I haven't been able to block on here. I'm very new to this position. I've been here about 2 months, so I don't have a lot to say about this on the job training. I just don't have a lot of experience with it just yet. We I have been able to meet with one business with Elizabeth. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Elizabeth Smith here, but she's the WIOA program manager. And she kind of helped me out on some things I could touch base with here. With our on-the-job training, when we meet with a business, we have the screener, the pre-application that we give to the businesses to put with their applications. And at our last meeting, they had asked a few questions, and we would show them who could qualify for OJT, and we gave them the list, this pre-application. And having that is a big help to the businesses, I think, because they know what to look for when we are trying to help them recruit some new employees. The biggest thing that we tell the businesses is that they are already paying for this with their taxes, so they may as well use us and use this program because it helps them. Everyone's paying for it, but we are helping them, and they're getting what they need. I don't really know what else to say. I'm so sorry. I wasn't really prepared for this, especially with the microphone being out, so I feel weird just talking on the phone. But if anyone has any questions, please type them in the chat, or I can drop my email in the chat. Like I said, I'm very new. I'm reading. I'm on Workforce GPS. I'm doing all the reading I can do to learn more. But all of you seem very experienced, and you have so much to say, and I apologize that I do not have more for y'all today.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're doing good. Listen, we have a lot of information that's out there available for you to gain from for us, the resources. I know you all did have a few OJT programs that were in place. I know one I particularly enjoyed going to visit while we were out monitoring was the label company that's in Newport, I believe it is. But I think that was a really great OJT program that you all had.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to go out there, and I don't even know anything about that yet, but I will be learning.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited to be on this meeting. I'm learning a lot. I'm getting more information than I've had in my 2 months in this position. So thank you all.
That's great. That's great. Any other questions for Taylor? No other questions for Taylor? Well, thank you, Taylor, for joining today, and I look forward to working with you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, well, good deal. We're going to move right along. Let's see if I can turn this back up. Okay. Good deal. Okay, so next we're going to listen to Ms. Cora Easterday. She's going to give us information on client referrals.
Oh, good morning. My heart's jumping through my screen here and y'all can't even see it, but I just get nervous because I want to do good. So anyway, I'm really happy to be a part of West Central and the business service team here. I know that prior to COVID, the workforce and those clients that we were serving and those coming into the workforce center were a lot different than coming out of COVID. We've had a lot of policy changes and procedure changes. There's been individuals who've left, and we have new employees. And so there's been a lot of talk about co-enrollment and common referral. So what we've recently implemented in our area that seems to be working rather well is a local lunch and learn. So each of our workforce centers has 1 day a week or 1 day a month that are part of
information. I really like the idea behind the 30-minute segments and letting everyone come in and speak. And it is so important for individuals to know, what resources are out there and what services other partners have to offer. So great job, great job. Any questions for Cora? Thank you all for sharing. Thank you all for sharing. So we're going to move along to partner collaboration with Ms. Annette Hughey. Ms. Annette.
Good morning. This is Ann Huey. I'm Annette twin. I'm going to replace her here today. No, just kidding. Good morning, everyone. This is Annette Huey from Southwest. Partners collaboration. Southwest has a great partnership with our core and required partners with our business services. We serve in 12 counties and we serve over 8,000 square feet. We cover over 8,000 square feet. And with that being said, with us, we found it very important to have a very strong partnership with the different agency businesses and industries in our area. What we value the most and what we found to be helpful for us is that it helped us alleviate the silos as well as reduce duplication. New partners. We are looking for new individuals to come along and to get on board with us. For instance, in some of our areas, because we're so widespread, we rely heavily on our economic developers and the local chambers because they are well established with the different businesses and the manufacturing industries. Like two of our large counties, Miller and Union, they have a great chamber of commerce. So we are constantly in contact with them to stay abreast as to what's going on, and they keep us well informed. We make sure with our business service team that, like you stated earlier, that we have a script, that we're knowledgeable of the service in order when we go out to make sure that knowledgeable of the services in order to establish a professional presence when approaching businesses. And we find it imperative to have an in-depth understanding of the different programs and services that we are all able to offer. For instance, we work very closely with ARS and our local two-year colleges. They are very, with their business services representative, they're on our Southwest team. And in our collaboration with them, I think our presence is growing in our area. We have been on a slow start, but we're excited because hopefully we can get through this next several months when COVID will be over with, and we can actually really get back in full gear with this. I'm excited that 7 of our 12 counties are becoming ACT work ready communities. 2 of our areas are at 95% completion, and we're just looking forward to what's coming down the pipe. So, anything else? Do you have any questions for me?
Great job. Thank you.
Partnership with your agencies, with us, is very important because we're so broad, we're so widespread, and covering over 8,000 square miles. It's hard to get to all of those little small towns.
I love the idea behind the collaboration with your chamber. That is really great. It goes back to what we were saying earlier about the industry experts reaching out and making those partnerships with them and connecting with them. Thank you, Ms. Annette. Any questions for Ms. Annette?
Hey, Annette, this is Cora Easterday. Would you put your email in the chat box? I've got a couple of our counties in the area that are looking at doing the CRC ready communities, and I would really appreciate some guidance if you have time to talk with me some.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Thank you all. Thank you. Okay, moving on, we're going to listen to Mr. Mike Willard. He's going to give us information on maintaining a virtual presence.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning to all. How are y'all doing today?
Great.
Here in Northeast, identifying employers' needs is, one of the biggest things. And one of the biggest needs that we found with employers is finding employees. Talking to them, they say, just if you can send me somebody who can pass a drug test or it's going to be here, that's what we're looking for. So some of them don't get real specific on the credentials that are needed. Some of them just need employees. So one of the ways we're trying to do that is through our Facebook page. We have a Northeast Arkansas Workforce Development Area Facebook page. And what we do, we post job openings for employers. What we do, we list the name of the employer, the location, and how to apply for employment with that employer. We also, on the same Facebook, we post public service events, like hiring events. We do outreach. We make sure that all of our partners are aware of this. And we have a lot of partners that also provide information that we can place on our Facebook page. We work with a lot of different entities in the area who may provide utility assistance, rental assistance with employees in the counties, and we make sure that they're aware of our Facebook page so they can provide that information to the participants that they serve. We feel like this has been real good for us. We've had a lot of hits on it, and we're hopeful, to continue on doing that and maybe even expand on it as we go along. Any questions?
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. Any questions for Mike today? Great job. Great job. Keep up the great work, Mike.
Thank you.
Area. Thank you. So next we have Project Connect, connecting with new partners, Miss Nancy Calloway. Nancy, it's on you.
Well, thank you. Good morning, everybody. And Shanae, thank you for such a wonderful program. This has been so interesting.
Awesome.
We are doing what we call Project Connect, and we've been looking for new ways to get our staff involved in outreach to gather new partners to us and find new ways to find participants. Our region has 6 counties that we cover, and each one of our career advisors has adopted a county to help spread awareness of the WIOA services in their county. Working in their adopted county, they connect once a month, a minimum, with a current partner, and they either lead a training about the WIOA services or they attend a training on the partner services so that they have more information about what they can share and who they want to refer out to, where and why. Plus, we ask them to connect with a new partner once a month, sharing our services with them. So they're out there meeting people, and they do this by going to the Chamber of Commerce, to the different religious areas, to the nonprofits. We've actually just gotten on Google and looked up nonprofits in the area and found different services that were given. A new one that we just came up with this last week was Heart to Heart, which is actually a religious-based service, but it's helping people get out of addiction. And although we may not be able to help them while they're in crisis, just before the people leave this program, because they're in there for 6 months to a year, 6 weeks to a year, we can get them set up for services before they leave. So they've got something to come to. We also ask our career advisors to connect with what I call the T's. The TAA, the TEAA, the TANF, the RESA. They're all in our workforce service center and one-stop center. And the career advisors rotate manning that desk once every week. So everybody gets a chance of being at the one-stop center for a whole week and meeting participants in the workforce center. So they see the T's regularly and have an opportunity to work with their clients while they're there and check with them. We also ask our career advisors to complete one success story a month, and that's not just for about our new participants or our current participants or our completing ones. It's also can be from an eligible training provider, from a work experience trainer, or a satisfied industry learner or employer. And then we put those on our website and also on Facebook, so that there's constant reminder that there's different entities that we work with, and all these different people are excited about what we're out there offering, and we're sharing it. Career advisors complete and submit a list each month of all the connections they've made, and they also submit the flyers or contact information for inclusion on our Project Connect bulletin board. The Project Connect bulletin board has flyers and information for all of the partners that we visited each month, and we highlight them throughout the month. So Project Connect's working really well. So far, we have 8 new partners this year, and we're hoping to have a minimum of 48 by the end of the year. So we're working on it quickly. And that's what we've got.
But thank you so much, Nancy. I absolutely love that idea. That is great. It's a great way to make sure that you continue to maintain pushing forward and adding new partners. I love that. I love that. Keep up the great work. Any questions for Nancy? Any questions? This is all really good, by the way.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Thank you. So next we have Stand Committed and Focus on the Needs of Employers and Businesses by Ms. Tracy Hinton. Tracy, it's on you. Hi. You're muted.
Hello, let's try that again. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. So our method of best practice for staying focused on the needs of employers or businesses at this time in our area is we're having county job fairs. I oversee 5 counties, Crittenden, Crossley, Phillips, and St. Francis County. And we've had 2 county job fairs for our region. Those county job fairs is a way for us to focus on the moms and pops who are usually kind of left out of the deal when we have these big career fairs or hiring events. So that's what we were mainly, that was our goal, because they too are suffering, especially now in this pandemic. We want to make sure that they have access to our business services team through our Arkansas Workforce Center. When we have these county job fairs, we prepare informational packets, which includes information on the Work Opportunity Tax Credit, National Career Readiness Certificate, which 4 out of our 5 counties are Work Ready Community certified. We have 1 county left to certify. This also helps the employer know what their the type of skill that they're looking for in those particular counties. In that informational packet, we also have information on ACT job profiling. I am an ACT job profiler. We have the business services publication in the information pack, job order forms, and labor market information. The labor market information is included in the pack so that we can let employers know what is the average pay for positions that they are trying to fill, and the number of job seekers in the area that and the skills that they have in that particular area. We also offer virtual job fairs. We haven't had a whole lot of luck with our virtual job fairs. I don't know, for some reason, it's kind of stagnant in our area. We submit the paperwork. Maybe that's another conversation, Shanae, for our virtual job fairs through the state. We submit the paperwork through our local office, and then it goes on to maybe Little Rock, maybe. I'm not sure, but it's kind of stagnant right there. So maybe we can talk more about that at a later time. But basically that's what we've got going on. Our next county job fair will be for Crittenden County. We meet with the local area leaders in Crittenden County, the chambers, in Marion and West Memphis. Crittenden County is a bigger county, so the other 2 county job fairs that we had in the past in Cross and St. Francis were a little bit smaller, and we were able to have those job fairs inside. But Crittenden County is a little bit bigger, so we're talking maybe about having the curbside job fairs instead of going inside, which has been a great success in our area as well. And that's all that I have.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing,
Thank
Tracy,
you.
with the job fair information. And Spencer did put a comment in here saying you're not alone in the virtual job fair troubles. He's seen other organizations having trouble with it as well. But we will definitely pick up that conversation later.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Thank
Any
you.
questions for Tracy? No questions? Okay. Well, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
We're going to listen and hear from Mr. Duran Ford with Southeast. He's going to discuss the business service assessment instruments that they use. Mr. Duran, it's on you. You're on mute. You're still on mute. You, okay, do you need to give me a call? Yeah, he's on mute also. If you can give me a call on my cell, I can put you on the speakerphone. Okay, good deal. You ready? It's 501-414-2748.
And Shanae, he has in the chat, his mute button is stuck.
Yeah.
It happens.
Okay.
He should probably just log out and log back in, Shanae.
Okay. Yes. Can you all hear him?
Barely.
Barely.
Okay.
Let me see if I can, what's the dial-in number directly, and maybe I can do that.
She said if you log out and log back in, you should be able to connect.
Let me try it, okay.
Okay.
You may want to move to the next person if you've got someone, Shanae.
One more, so we'll come back and get him. Okay, next we have employer outreach, and that'll be coming from our Little Rock area, either Miss Sheena Fluker or Miss Yolanda Carmen. Sheena or Yolanda, are you all available?
And I am checking Miss Yolanda Carmen is on. I don't see Sheena in our participant list unless she's on the phone.
Okay.
Yolanda, can you hear us?
Yes, can everyone hear me okay?
There you go.
I will speak on behalf of Sheena. One of the things that we've done here in Little Rock when it comes to employee outreach is to make sure that we have a key message to share with employers. And the first step in doing that is make sure that you have your business needs assessment completed. You don't necessarily have to meet with an employer in order to have that business needs assessment completed and start your research. Labor market information is able to you in order to get and start your business needs assessment and get a message started. And based on what you find, you can kind of see what type of message that you need to share. Some of the key strategies that we use with employers, we try to target things that they value. And one thing is financial benefit. With most businesses, they want to know how they can grow their businesses. And using the tax, work opportunity credit that was mentioned earlier, as well as other government grants like the Dislocated Worker Program to help retain employees can be beneficial to employers as well. Consistent quality. Employers want to know consistent high quality in the customer experience and in the job seekers who are gives the employers confidence. So when we refer job seekers or when we refer to them as talent, we want to make sure that they're trained and ready to work in the industry as well. Timely response. I don't know about you, but my experience with working with employers is, hey, they want it now. Employers want to move quickly to keep their business afloat and pursue opportunities. So one of the talking key points should be about how we can provide those services in a timely manner. Explain to them we have a full service team to help match their qualified job candidates and business needs. Also with businesses, they want to know we have a simple process in place, right? No one wants to take the time out to fill out a lot of forms in order to meet their business needs. So we want to ensure that, hey, we do have a simple process in place, whether it's through AJL, that business needs assessment, in order it is to get that process started. We also want to know with that process that our staff is available that will guide them through that process to help with their business. Last but not least, community benefits. Employers of all sizes care about uplifting their community. So we want to make sure that we're providing life-changing opportunities to help our overall community and make sure that we are partnering and saying thank you for your services. I know pre-COVID, I know a lot of times we visited our employers face to face, was able to deliver thank you notes, plans, and I think some other local workforce areas were doing the same. And now that we are in a COVID environment, you still can do that. You can still pick up a phone. You can still send a friendly email or wherever the case may be to let them know that you appreciate their business. Also let them know that you're there for any future businesses that they need or services. So that's pretty much I have, Shanae.
Thank you so much, Ms. Yolanda. I really do appreciate the fact that you all have mastered the employer outreach and streamlined your approach. I'm quite sure the employees appreciate that as well. So good job. Keep up the great work. Any questions for Ms. Yolanda? No questions? Okay, let's see if we can get Mr. Duran Ford back in with the business service assessment instruments. Duran, were you able to get logged back in?
Good morning. I actually had to switch to my Surface Pro. I think something was going on with my computer, but good morning, everybody. I'm Duran Ford. I'm new in this role. So if I make a mistake, I'm gonna defer to Eddie, who's my predecessor for this role. But here at CAD, we pretty much do the business services, which encompass pretty much all of what's been discussed by each district in terms of the different areas and best practices. But through business services, we've customized our services to try to meet the needs of employers and to provide technical assistance to help meet the regulatory and administrative needs of the current job market. And in doing this, we've developed the business assessment, or the instrument, if you will, that focuses on 4 areas: from training, retention, apprenticeship, and certificates. This provides us an in-depth survey of employers' workforce needs and allows who are available and ready for work. Also, through the employer incentives for doing work with us or utilizing those who come through the wheel of services, and letting them know about, the veteran services, work opportunity tax credit, apprentice training programs, OJT, incumbent worker training, and the federal funding. We often will do analysis on businesses to kind of evaluate what their deficiencies may be, their strengths, weaknesses, things of that nature, and to align them with who would be some of the best qualified participants or workers that we have that can serve the needs that are there. Through business services, we network as well. We attend job fairs, layoffs, partner businesses with the local chamber to try to encourage them to do more with their chamber. So just a full encompass relationship, as previously been discussed by other districts. We pretty much do that through the business service assessment instruments. Any questions for me or any further?
That is great for you all to continue to use those assessment tools, those instruments that you all are using. I think that is great, and it'll continue to help you all push forward and gain new partnerships. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Any questions for Duran? No questions? I want to thank you all for sharing your local area's best practices on today. I'm quite sure everyone has pretty much learned and gleaned from everyone. So thank you all again. We're down to the end of we're down to the point of questions and answers segment. So if anyone have any unanswered questions, please let me know. We're going to also follow up the summit today with a follow-up email. So any of the links that have been posted in the chat box, we will make sure we get that in a format that you all can understand. If you all have additional questions, please feel free to let me know. Post them in the chat box or send me an email, and we'll get those addressed and answered as well. Anybody have any other questions or comments at this time?
I just wanted to say I loved this summit. You did a great job organizing it, and the presenters all did a very good job. We should do this more often.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
I agree. This is Annette. Very helpful.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I disagree with everybody's previous comments. We should do this more often, and I didn't care for it at all. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Willoughby.
Thank you.
Let's see if we can get a smile. As long as we can get a smile, we'll take that.
You're on mute, Beverly.
Don't even listen to Elroy. My goodness. I'll try to be nice, Shanae.
Well, I really do appreciate you all. Thank you, AD Thomas, for the opportunity for us to get together and have the ADWS Business Summit, Services Summit. Thank you, Deputy Director Bassett. Thank you, Chief Elroy Willoughby. Thank you all for the speakers, everyone that took part in, added comments, had a part on the agenda that you even just attended. Thank you for just taking out the time to attend our Business Service Summit. We look forward to the next Business Service Summit that's coming up, but you will most definitely get an invite for it. So thank you all again for your time and the information that has been shared. Thank you again. I can't thank you enough. So thank you all. I hope you have a great rest of the afternoon, and you are now adjourned. And in the words of Chief Elroy Willoughby, we'll bang the gavel on this summit. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
No,
everybody.
Shanae,
Thank you,
please.
Shanae. All presenters, thank you very much. Y'all have a good work week.
Y'all do the same. Bye-bye.